Hello and welcome. My name is Vulliamy and I am an author. I write stories and I'm an illustrator. I draw the pictures to go with those stories. Perhaps you like to write stories and do the illustrations too. I'd like to tell you today about a new series that I have written and illustrated called Marshmallow Pie, the Cat Superstar. Well, Marshmallow Pie is a fancy cat. His full name, make sure I got this right, his full name is Marshmallow Marmaduke Vanilla Bean Sugar Pie Fluffington Fitz Noodle. But everybody calls him Pie. And he lives with his owner, a girl called Amelia Lime, and she really wants him to be famous. She wants him to be an actor, a celebrity, but he is a lazy cat and he just can't be bothered. He just can't be bothered to make the effort. And he just thinks he's a star already. And also there is a kitten in this series, a little ginger kitten, and her name is Ginger Nut. And Pie finds her very annoying. I had the idea of writing this story in what's called the first person, and that is telling the story in Pie's own voice. So it's telling the story from his point of view. And I really recommend trying that in your own stories, trying that first person, telling the story in the voice of your main character. It's really fun. It's really useful for really getting inside their heads, even if they have got quite a small head, and thinking about what they are thinking and seeing and doing. So it's something to consider in your own story writing. I didn't base Pie on any particular cat. I don't have any cats of my own, sadly. But I did have cats when I was small. When I was a little girl, we always had cats in our family. And something came back to me actually while I was writing the Marshmallow Pie stories. And I remembered that when I was little, I had a little cat called Molly, and I used to tuck her inside my coat, and I used to walk down to the end of our street where there was a tube station, and inside the tube station there was a photo booth, which is where you go in to take photos maybe for a passport, and they come out in a long strip of little photos. And I used to put my money in the slot, and I would take photographs of me and my little cat, and then tuck her back in my coat and walk back again. And this came back to me all these years later when I was writing these stories. So I put that scene in. So you just never know what's going to pop into your imagination, and that finds its way into a story. So now I'm going to show you how to draw Marshmallow Pie. So you can all draw along with me if you like. So all you need is some paper and some pens. So let's get started. When I draw Marshmallow Pie, I always start with the eyes. Don't have to, there's no rules, but that's what I do. And cats are so good at doing side eye, which means looking to one side. It's very good because it looks like they are sort of disapproving, as if they're just looking to one side, as if to say, what on earth are you doing? Or who is that naughty kitten? And they're very good at doing that. And one of the funny things, one of the real life facts about cats is that they can't really do side eyes. They can't actually turn their eyeballs to the side. If they wanted to look that way, they would actually have to turn their heads to the side. So it's not actually a real life thing, but of course in an illustration it's not to do with real life, it's to do with whatever you feel is right. So Marshmallow Pie gives a lot of side eye. Then I'm going to draw his nose. Cats' noses are funny little things, and I think if you look at Mog's nose, I think Mog's nose is a little triangle, and for Marshmallow Pie, his nose is a little heart, just very simple little heart, and an upside down Y for the mouth. So a little stalk here, and I'm going to draw him. I could have drawn him smiling, but I think I'm going to draw him in a little bit of a grumpy face, like that. So I always think of that as an upside down Y, capital Y. And now I will start drawing his ears. And he's going to have some ear tufts, some fluff coming out of his ears, and he's even going to have a little ear tuft on the top of his ears, like that. And then a tufty top to his head. And then the sides of his face, very full and fluffy. Like that, very wide and fluffy. Now Marshmallow Pie has a bow tie. His bow tie is green, but you could colour it in any colour you like when you draw your Marshmallow Pie. And then we're going to start in on the body, so a big fluffy chest. And what's lovely about drawing fluffy cats, fluffy animals, is that there is no definite outline. It's just as fluffy as you want it. I'm going to draw his legs with his front paws together. It's a nice way that cats sometimes sit, with their front legs together. Nice little paws down here. And the other front leg. Little paws. And then the side of his back leg, just tucked in here. I'm just going to tuck the back paw in underneath there. They sit very neatly, cats. Let's do the other leg. Keeping everything very fluffy and light. And then the other back paw, just tucked in there. And now I get to do the tail. And he has a magnificent and wonderfully fluffy tail. So in order to show it in all its best glory, I'm going to just do it up in the air, like this. So there he is. I'm just going to put a little bit of colour in. So that little heart-shaped nose will be pink. His eyes will be green. And his bow tie will be green, but as I said, whatever you fancy for your picture of Marshmallow Pie. And so there he is. No, I have forgotten something. I have forgotten something extremely important. I'm going to get a finer black pen. Of course, his whiskers. I'm going to do 3 on one side and 3 on the other. And I once heard that a cat's whiskers keep growing as in their life, so they actually get wider. If a cat gets wider, their whiskers get wider too. I think it helps them judge what kind of a space they can get through. I think that's what the purpose of whiskers, one of the purposes of whiskers is to try and gauge a gap that a cat can get through. So, well, Marshmallow Pie is a big cat, and so I think he would have big whiskers. And I'm just going to do his signature. I'll just do it in pink again. And his signature, of course, will be a paw print. So there he is, Marshmallow Pie. Can't wait to see how you get on with your drawings. I'd like to finish off by reading you a little extract from the first story about Marshmallow Pie, the cat superstar. And in the scene I'm going to read you, Amelia Lime is preparing Pie to go and do an audition so that he could maybe get a chance to join the Ace Animal Acting Agency, which will give him a chance to be a star and to be in plays and films and TV adverts and all sorts of things like that she so much wants for him. So she's going to train him to do the best he possibly can on the day to impress the animal agency. So you remember that this is written in Pie's voice, so this is Pie talking. I'm just having a wonderful dream about finding a roast chicken twice as big as me when Amelia wakes me up. So much for my usual Saturday morning lie-in. I'm going to teach you some tricks for the audition, she announces cheerfully, still in her pyjamas and waving a hoop in the air. First, we will practice jumping, she says. Amelia ties a piece of string around Squeaker, my toy mouse. Holding the hoop a little above the floor, she slowly pulls Squeaker through it. I'm meant to follow. Why on earth would I bother doing that? I stretch luxuriously and slump further into my cushion. OK, let's try something easier, she says happily. The high five. She has a ridiculously tiny piece of ham inside her closed hand and holds it up to me, as if I would raise a paw for that, honestly. All right, we'll do the simplest of all, polite sitting. It's very important to make a good first impression. She holds the tiny piece of ham above my head. Come on, Pie, she says. Sit up straight for a tasty snack. I look at the ham and I look at her. I close my eyes. Never mind, let's leave all that for now. She smiles and gives me the ham anyway. I knew she would. I go back to sleep. Hope I can find that roast chicken again. So you can see from that how little effort he is prepared to make to be a superstar. So if you read this story, you'll find out how well or not well the audition goes, and you'll see what happens to her plans for stardom for Pie. I really hope you enjoy these stories, and thank you very, very much for joining me today. Thank you from Pie and from me. Goodbye.